baseline session today, first time that I've seen you guys. So there's a lot to unpack mechanically here. All right. First things first. This is not the first pitch that we did. The only adjustment that I made to this point is I lowered the glove. His starting position, he was up here really high. I lowered it a little bit, and we got about a mile an hour faster out of it. The intent wasn't necessarily to get faster on it. I'll show you why we did that here in a second. All right, so first things first. We can't address all of these all at once, and so I'm just going to go over like big picture mechanical adjustments that we want to make, and we'll address them individually at each session. But the fact that he hit 53 miles an hour twice, throwing with the mechanics that he's currently got, he can be at 60 fairly quickly once we get some of these things corrected, which is really good for a 10-year-old. All right, so first thing first, we're going to go in order. So I want you to watch the glove and the ball separation. All right, so what we want to see, all right, he's here, okay? As the knee comes up, I know you can't see my lower half here. As the knee comes up, we need to separate the ball and the glove, all right? So my knee's up. I'm going to start to separate here. So my left elbow's coming back that way. My right elbow's coming back that way. And I'm taking the ball away and I'm separating them, okay? We're not going to see that here. So what we're going to see is the glove kind of doesn't move much, and he brings the ball back. Okay, right here, this position, this is not bad, okay? I'd like to see a little bit of tilt here. So the pelvic bone should be at an angle like this, and then the spine neutral, all right? Where he's really kind of perpendicular to the ground here. And I'd like to see that back knee a little bit straighter, okay? Didn't talk about any of this today in the session. I'm just going breaking it down frame by frame here. All right, so let's go forward a little bit. So here comes the takeaway. See, the glove has not moved. So this elbow should be going back a little bit. This elbow here should be going back. So ultimately, the position I was trying to get him in today was more here, getting that separation. So when I do this, my scapula, which is basically like where my shoulder blades are, is retracting. And I've got to have scap retraction on both shoulders if I'm going to throw hard. So one, I'm here, he's kind of here, all right? So there's the first two things right there. And I think, well, at the end I'll go over how we can address those two before our next session, all right? So moving forward a little bit more. Next glaring thing here. So he's drifting forward. So right here, if the remote, if this is his hip and this is his spine, all right, we're here. It needs, all right, so this is kind of right where his spine is, right? It really should be back here and angled, like tilted. So that the hip is going to be at this angle here, and then the spine is going to be neutral coming back. So it's almost like a back lean, right? So more here, all right? At this stage, this arm should be up, just kind of here, but this needs to be extended out, right? Right there. All right. And now he's going to get really kind of jammed up, right? He's already, his body's moving forward too early. We need to be sitting back more, and he's going to get jammed up here in the shoulder area. Watch. Right there. Okay. So this is not a very safe position for him to be in. Number one, when you drift forward instead of staying back. So in this position here, and again, I know you can't see my feet. All right, I'm striding out. okay? But I'm still keeping the weight back. I'm coiling basically through my back hip, and I'm creating ground force through the tension in the back leg. All right. So I'm staying back here. When you drift forward like this, all right, your timing is going to be off, and you're going to put a lot more stress on the elbow over time. So we really want to address that first. And then this arm here needs to be parallel, like it's got to be lower than the shoulder. All right, not parallel, but it needs to be lower than the shoulder, where he's like jammed up here. So he's also going to put a lot of stress on the shoulder, like that. Okay, so we've got to lengthen it out, and that is going to be attributed to what we already talked about when we were back here. Okay, so if I go a little bit further. There we go. See, that elbow's way too high there, and he's not using this front side at all. All right. I do have a front side trainer that we can use, and that'll help clean some of that up without me having to verbally cue it, which will help. But right here, he should have spinal flexion here, and this back hip should already be opening. So what's happening here is he's getting jammed in the torso and in the hips because this foot's not pivoted, so he can't fire that hip going towards home plate. In turn, he's not able to open the torso, where the torso should be coming open more, right? You want to have your hips and shoulders separate, but this back hip has to fire, and it has to be fully pointing towards home plate to be able to get the shoulders coming through. So he's getting jammed up there, and then of course this front side here is not helping him at all. He's not getting any benefit out of that. All right, he's creating a lot of torque up here, which is the primary thing that we want to address. All right, and then if we go forward a little bit more. All right, so here, this is a good angle to show, right? This position of the shoulder of the torso here. All right, that should be before this foot strikes. So again, he's coming through late, and his torso appears to be more open than the hip. Like this hip should be totally squared up to the plate at this point. All right, now this leg needs to be strong, and we call it blocking, right? When he's about to release the ball, this leg's got to get. It doesn't have to straighten out to the point of locking like a lot of like 100-mile-an-hour guys have, but it needs to be firm where he's not going to extend over that foot. All right, and here's what happens. If I can get it to go. All right, so he's straightening it up. As you can see, though, it's not firm here on the ground, and it's going to carry him where he falls forward. Okay, now that part's not the end of the world, right? The stuff back up here is what we want to address, and a lot of the rest of that's going to clean up by addressing the takeaway, getting his shoulders in a good position here. For them to cycle through. Okay. Again, I know it's a lot of stuff that I just mentioned. It's all very, very easy to fix. It's just going to take some time. All right. Let's go back real quick to this beginning part. All right. So this part right here, he can stand in front of a mirror and just work on. I don't know if you can see my hips in the camera or not. Probably not, but right here, my hips are, if these are my two hips, right, and I'm standing straight up here, right, I want my hips to be at this angle. And then I want my spine to be neutral in line with it, right? So here, like that, all right? So if he's standing in front of a mirror, he can just get that feel. And then the other thing that I want you to work on before our next session is the takeaway phase. So what I would cue with this is I want both elbows to come back like this, all right? So knee comes up, I tilt, both elbows come back, all right? From this side, right, it's going to be knee comes up, I tilt, both elbows are retracted, all right? And that'll just give him the feel for that. So when I see you guys next week, he'll already kind of understand those first two things that we're working on, and then we can work on the elbow spiral or and stuff like that, and get him moving in the right way. All right. Let me know if you have any questions.